It's your girl Marquita Vian, the host of the Pink Link podcast, and today we are live. The Pink Link is live. You know why not? It's convenient. And your girl got on blue because your girl got something to do, and it's hot out, and so I was like, we're gonna do some blue on this sunny day, you know. So hi Auntie Shaky, and so we're waiting on him to join, and once he joined, I'm gonna add him on so that he can just share his story, how he went from jail and now, you know, just living his purpose and serving pets. Like, we serve people, we can all service pets and be of service to those animals that God has blessed and created on this earth. So he should be joining shortly. Hey, gorgeous. Thank you. And so this video will definitely be posted onto YouTube. I posted one today because it was like a short, easy edit. Did it impromptu. Content is content, and we pushing it out this year. And so, yes, but I have some rolling out because, you know, I'll be out of time next week. So the ones that I'm doing live, we're going to be repurposing on the podcast, you all. So if you're over here on Instagram and you see this, make sure you go subscribe to the Pink Link Podcast on YouTube. And if you're at YouTube, make sure you go to Instagram and subscribe to Marquita Vian. That's me. And at the Pink Link Podcast if you would like. Because we got to run it up. And I definitely thank you all who have been supporting thus far. Just small talk as he come on. He just messaged me. So hopefully he'll be joining shortly. I'm trying to see what else I can tell y'all. The newest video, like I just said, the guy I met in Goodwill because, you know, I'm going to Chicago. So I'm trying to find a long coat, like a trench coat look. I wanted the white one. And so that video was posted. So go back and watch that and just listen to that story because I didn't even get the coat. The coat was messed up. And so I did end up finding one. And it cost more to get it cleaned at the cleaners than it did in the Goodwill. So, yeah. That's a trip. And let me tell you this, because I literally was Googling it, and it was saying the coat was worth $33,000. So I don't know. I don't know if that's that coat or another coat. I think it's another brand. They got it mixed up on Google. But he was showing me like all kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, that's the thing. But that's something you have to commit to as well. So I was like, yeah, that sounds good, but that's a job. That's a lot. You gotta focus on one thing, and I'm focused on content over here at the Pink Link Podcast. So doing that would be another task. Now, if I just run across something that's great, he's logging on now, you all. So I can't see who else has joined, but hey, how you doing? And once again, please be sure to go check out the Pink Link Podcast on YouTube. And Mr. Jay Horton is coming on. And there he go. Send a join request. His name is Running Edge, South Florida. Go support and follow him, you all, as well. Awesome story. So I'm going to add him on. Okay, there you go. Hi there. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm excellent. Thank you for coming on, and it's definitely a pleasure to have you at the Pink Link.
All right. Been looking forward to this.
Me too. So once again, I'm going to start everything over from the beginning for those who may be joining or if you're watching, you know, later. I'm Marquita Vian, the host of the Pink Link Podcast, where we have powerful, innovative, next level conversations with AK because we fancy like that over here. And so we actually go out and, you know, have individuals like Mr. Jay Horton here come on, share their stories, whether it's business, purpose, whatever that they're doing to create the life that they desire. And so when I saw his story on Facebook, we've been Facebook friends for quite some time.
Yes,
I think it maybe started with the Workout 2.0 Fitness. What do you think?
Yeah.
You was there?
It was a workout I used to have. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's how me and him are friends on Facebook. And so I was like, wow, this is an awesome story. And so now I'm going to let Mr. Jay Horton introduce himself to you all so that you can get, you know, his rundown. And then you can hand it back over to me when you finish introducing yourself, Mr. Jay Horton.
My name is actually Jerome Horton. Most people call me Jay.
Okay. I was like, oh, Lord. I'm about to...
No, most people call me Call me Jay. I've been in veterinarian technician for over 20 plus years. Got into this by accident and been going at it ever since. Back to you.
Wow. 20 plus years. So the story, the little rundown I saw on Facebook, you had went to jail. And so how long were you in jail when you was in jail?
2 years.
Okay, so 2 years. Now ask what for? You can decline.
No, it was possession.
Okay,
I
so
was wrong, doing the wrong at the wrong time.
trying to hustle hard. You out
Yep.
there hustling every day,
Yep.
hustling.
Thought I
Trying to
was
run
gonna,
it up in the streets.
thought I was gonna be the
Okay.
man.
Huh?
They thought I was gonna be the man. It turns out that I wasn't.
Yeah, you was trying to be like Pablo Escobar, huh?
Y'all
Okay.
thought that back then.
Exactly. A lot of people was driving. That was the goal.
Oh man.
And so, you get out, and you mentioned your mom
got out.
had.
It's a funny story. I got out.
Tell it to
I
us.
got out on probation, and one of the stipulations is I had to have a job when I was on probation. I had to have an honest job. So I got out. I was staying with my mom. I think I was off maybe a day or two. And my mom, we had a dog, and my mom told me to come with her. Let me go to ride with her to go take the dog to the store. To the vet. So I go with her, like, okay, I'm finna go with her. So we take the dog to the vet, and we get in the office. The doctor checks the dog out. Old white man, Dr. Taylor, one of the best people I ever went on to meet, treated me like a father after. But anyway, we are in the exam room. The doctor, he examines the dog, tells my mom after he examines the dog to step out of the room. So I'm looking like, why is he telling her to step out of the room?
Oh,
Well, as she leaves the room, he says to me, I heard you're looking for a job. In my mind, I'm saying to myself, no, I'm not. He said, your mom told me you're looking for a job. I said, okay. He said, well, I have an opening in our kennel bathing animals. And I said, well, I look like bathing animals. This is what I'm actually saying in my mind. And he says, well, let me put it to you like this. He says, I'll never ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do. And when he said that to me, it stuck out at me. I'm like, why is he saying that? The fact that he's just telling me that, and maybe that means he's not going to try to step down on me, like treat me like a kid. So I said, okay, I'll take the job. So mind you, this job, I live in Liberty City, Miami. If most of you know where that's at. This job, this hospital was down in Kendall. So back then, I wasn't driving, so it was either you catch the bus or you catch the Metro Rail. Well, I had to catch both. So it was literally an hour ride on the rail and on the bus to work, and an hour ride back from work. Well, I ended up staying there for 11 years, working for him.
So let me cut you off right there. So you said it was an hour to and from. So what hours were you commuting back and forth to work? What were the times you had to be there?
I had to be to work at 8 o'clock. So I left my house probably like 6:30 to catch the bus and the Metro Rail down south to make it there by.
So you was out of school by this time. You had
I
to
was,
leave the school.
yeah, I've been out of school. I went out of school once.
Huh?
I went out of school once I went to jail.
Okay. I got you. So that was the wrap. By the time you came home, you was grown enough to start working and providing.
Right.
Okay, so you used to be there 11 years.
11 years.
Did you have that commute the entire 11 years? Or
Yeah.
did you move closer to the job?
Nah, I never moved close. Always stayed down there. Never moved close.
Wow.
I actually moved further away. Well, back then I hadn't got a car from working there, but I actually moved further away from the hospital. But
so, is that what you were going to say?
I'll say, but by then he was like considered family to me. It was kind of like working at a family hospital by that point. So I didn't want to leave.
Right. So did you have a fond of animals, or did you ever have a pet besides your mom's pet?
No, we had pets when I was younger, but back then there was no such thing as, veterinarians, taking your dog to the veterinarians.
Right.
They got sick,
I
they got
agree.
sick. So I was shocked when she said she was taking the dog to the veterinarian, because I was like, you don't never take dogs to the veterinarian.
Right.
So that was what got me into it. And then once I got into it, I came in bathing animals. And as I was, bathing animals, he started telling me, showing me little things, how to do this. And then I was always the type, I ask questions. No matter what it is, if I think about something, I'll ask a question about it. So I always asked him questions, or if I saw somebody doing something, I always would walk by and say, hey, what are you doing? How you do that? Why you do that? I always ask the question. So as people started leaving, he started asking me, do you want to do it? You want to do this? You want to do that? And I was like, yeah. So now I just started climbing, doing dentals. Then you start, I started cleaning dogs' teeth. And I started assisting in surgery. And then it just moved on and on until, he just started teaching me more and more things that till this day, I still remember.
Wow. So you was there 11 years, and that's all you've ever done since you came home, right?
That's all
I've ever done.
That's it. Nothing else.
Wow. So, when these pets come in, what is the scope of the work that you're doing now? Like different surgeries, or what is it that you're doing?
Doing surgeries, but then by doing surgeries, you don't get to meet people as much as you want. And I kind of like to meet people to see different things. So now I'm a triage person. So meaning when they come in for an emergency, I'm the person that they come and say what's going on. I triage the pet, they can tell me what's going on. Then I'll go to the doctor, tell the doctor, this is what's going on. They did this, they didn't do this. And then the doctor would examine the pet with me, and then doctor would go in and talk to them, tell them what are the next steps to get their pet healthy. Once they tell them what their steps are, then they'll tell me, okay, this is what it's going to get. It's going to get x-rays, blood work, whatever it is, and then I'll do that. And then that's how it goes on towards working to get their pets back on the street to help.
Okay. Okay, because this is my first dog. And like you said, growing up, the dog was outside in the yard. He ate what we ate. You get what I'm saying? So
that's right.
With this being my first dog and me wanting to be a good pet mom, I don't feed him. Well, now I can't say I don't feed him table food because he might get a little bit of what I'm eating sometimes.
Yeah,
but no bones. What you say? Don't do it.
I was gonna say now. Most people are gonna give them their table food.
Right. And so, now I know that he shouldn't have bones. So what are your take on that? Because someone was telling me he's a dog, he should eat bones. And I'm like, no, they said that it was cut up his lining in his stomach. So no, I'm not giving my baby bones.
Yeah, you should never, ever give your dog bones. I don't care what anybody tell you. I'm telling you from my point of view and what I see on the daily. Never give, because one day, I promise you, there will become a problem with them eating bones. And there's so many bad things that can happen. I don't know if I lost you or not.
Okay.
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Okay. So by giving bones, you got to remember, sometimes they don't chew the bones up enough. They're dogs. So they might swallow that bone, and it's so many things that can go wrong. It can scratch their trachea. It can get stuck in their throat. It can go down and cut the lining of their stomach, their intestines. It can get stuck. It's so many bad things that can go from them chewing bones.
Wow.
And yeah,
that's
when we were young, they did that.
Dogs died when we was younger. Like what happened to Rex? Rex then went on home.
And you think about it. Back then, you didn't know why dogs died. There was no reason to know. You could just say 1 minute he was fine, the next minute, you woke up and he was dead. And it could have been from so many things. You could have gave him a bone the night before.
Wow.
And you never know what happened. You could say, oh, he was eating. I just gave him something. Something you gave him could have been one of the reasons.
Wow. I mean, I just definitely found it interesting. And so, throughout the 20 years, what is one of your fondest memories, or have you ever became attached to a pet, or you didn't spend that much time with pet, they're basically in and out with you? Have you ever had an attachment to a pet that maybe you saw?
No, you get attached to pets all the time. There's no one in this field that does not get attached to pets. You'll
Right.
get attached to a pet probably once a week. Because one of the gratifying things about this field is you'll see a pet come in and they're sick. They're like weak. Most people think they're on their deathbed. And then as the days go on, you'll see that pet getting better, depending on the quality of care that they're getting. You'll see that pet getting better and better to a point where you'll see that pet actually go home. And that's one of the most gratifying things that you will ever see. Rather they come from surgery and they got better, or you just got them treatments and they gotten better. But the fact, one of the best things any technician, doctor will tell you in this field is seeing a pet come in really, really sick and go home really, really healthy. The fact that,
Wow.
you know, the gratitude that their moms and their dads will show you just because they know you got their family member back home to them healthy is an amazing, amazing feeling.
And that's the thing, like, some people say they get out on me because I used to be afraid of pets growing up. You know, we had dogs, but how they was teaching me with the dogs, like get her, and have me running from the pets, that it took years for me to train myself to finally be open to having a pet in my home. And he wasn't for me, he was for my children. But now he's my pet. And literally, like, people like, she treats that dog like a child, but it's like he's a part of the family.
That's right.
Like, he is a big kid. He's a baby.
Uh-huh. He is. Most pets do. A lot of people get pets because, to me, they teach your kids responsibilities. Like, because you're trying to teach your kid that you have to walk the dog, you have to change the cat litter, like so many things that you tell them if they don't do it on that time, they don't do it. Don't get me wrong. Some fall short because it ended up becoming their job. Like you say, it became your job, so then it became your pet and not their pet. But again, you just grown to love it. You thought it was just going to be for them, but you end up loving it more than they did.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
I was like, look at God, because I had no clue that this would be my dog.
I will say this. I don't know how long you had your dog for, but one thing I tell most people when you're a new dog owner, whether it's a puppy or you just got a dog, one thing that definitely wasn't around when we were younger was pet insurance. I tell every single person, get pet insurance, because in the long run, it's going to help you. When you get a doctor bill, when you have pet insurance, it makes a world of difference. But for your pet, for you, and for that hospital.
Wow. Well, I need to get some because I be paying out of pocket.
Yeah, you need to look into it.
Just get the regular checkups and stuff now.
Yeah,
but you know,
but
the
look
basic.
into it, because there's so many pet insurances out there to get. You just have to pick one that's better for you. There's some that pay, before you have to pay the doctor. There's some that make you pay and then they'll reimburse you the money back. So there's so many ways of pet insurance is working. But I will tell you to choose one that works for you.
Right. Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna look into it. Trust me, I'm trying to read the question. Trust me, it does. My dog ate one of my Power Ranger toys, and that bill was crazy. Wow.
Yeah, because they get stuck. It's the same as
They do
a
too,
phone. We call
though.
them we call them foreign bodies, because there's so many things dogs can eat. Toys. We literally just had one today that ate a tampon. There's so many different things they eat.
Yeah,
Socks,
you have to be mindful.
shirts. Yeah, they
People
eat
like, yeah,
so many
nasty.
things. Yep, and they'll eat it. They're dogs. They will eat it. So when you have, and that's a very, very, foreign bodies are a very costly ER visit. So if you have insurance, it's not that costly of an ER visit, because your insurance most times covers your visit. There's other things
Wow.
you can go. There's things like care credit. You can get, most hospitals accept care credit. There's so many ways that you can go about, paying it, rather than saying, hey, I don't have the money. It's best to go and get them checked anyway. And let most hospitals will tell you, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried applying for this? And they'll tell you certain things to apply for that'll help you if you don't have, the money to pay.
Right, because I mean, who would want to be in a position like I say he's like a child. Like, I would definitely want to make sure I get him the care that he needs and the help. If forbid something was to happen, like that. So I thank you for telling me. I'm literally about to cry, like, Lord Jesus.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I'll tell everyone that you want to do with puppies is you want to get them vaccinated. Number
Yeah.
one, you want them vaccinated because there's so many diseases that they can get from not being vaccinated that actually can be very deadly to puppies. So you want
Wow.
to get them vaccinated, and
I know.
you don't want them going around other dogs until they are completely vaccinated.
Right. Because he go to daycare and they send out the things like he can't come unless everything is up to date.
Hmm. Which is because one thing he can get can affect their whole hospital, their whole daycare. Because there's things like kennel cough, there's respiratory, that they can get. It's just like taking a kid to daycare. One kid gets sick, it can spread
Oh,
that throughout the whole hospital. I mean, throughout the
yeah.
whole school.
When I adopted him 2 years ago, he had kennel cough once we got him home. Let me tell you though, let me tell y'all how this happened that I felt comfortable with him coming home. When we got the dog, he did not bark at all. So that lessened the intimidation, that I had because he wasn't barking. So he was just quiet, for a few days, and then he started coughing, or he was coughing during the time. But I guess because he had the kennel cough, he couldn't bark. So
Hmm.
that's how he actually, got up in here. Because he would be acting like he act when somebody knocked on that door. He would be up
Yeah.
in my house.
Well, yeah, because he probably had killed because his throat was
I
sore.
said, well, look at God, because God knew he wouldn't be up in here acting like that.
And look at him now.
Yeah.
He probably don't stop barking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he barked.
Kennel
I mean,
cough is,
when he
is a
started barking, we were shocked because we thought he didn't bark. And then
no, no.
once we got him, I took him to the vet and they treated him for the kennel cough because we had adopted him from a shelter. He came, back to his barking self. But I was
Hmm.
okay with him by then, he wasn't,
Right.
barking at me. But
Yeah.
yes, so is there any questions out there someone may want to ask? And what else I want to ask you? How do you feel about the adoption process or breeding? Do you prefer adoption or breeding for those who are looking to, maybe get their first pet?
I'm more of more along the lines of adopting because I mean, actually, either one of them doesn't matter because I like adoption because I think you're giving a pet as probably was unwanted and unloved. You're giving them another opportunity to be loved and wanted. When you're adopting a pet, sometimes they euthanize pets if they're not adopted. You're actually giving them you're actually giving them a chance at life by adopting them. And sometimes some pets are left, on the streets because no one wants them, or they couldn't handle it. They're turned over to the shelters because hey, we couldn't afford them. You might can afford them, and you might can give that dog a better life than he had, from the people that turned him over. I'm big on breeding. I like breedings too. It all depends on some people have certain breeds that they want. Like right now, the breed of choice now is Frenchies. Everybody wants a Frenchie.
That thing's
But one
about
thing,
10,000, right?
yeah, they're up there. But the thing about them with Frenchie, there's a lot come with owning a Frenchie. You're not just gonna get a dog and say, "Hey, I paid 10,000. I'm gonna breed them and I'm gonna make 10 more thousand." It's not like that. That breed is a very, very tough breed to raise because
The
they have
temperament.
so many. Yeah, not even their temperament. They have a lot of things that can go wrong. Like they have breathing problems. They have, they're big on chewing things, foreign bodies. Like it's so many things that happen with that breed compared to any other breed. Every breed has their shortcomings. I'll put it to you like that. No
Right.
matter what it is, they have their shortcomings. So if you're gonna breed a certain dog, if you want to always look into what goes into that dog. What can go wrong? You have to understand what can go wrong, and you have to understand what it costs to treat what can go wrong. Because you just can't go and get a $10,000 dog and say, "Hey, I got no money to treat it." Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, my bad. But dang, she called. I told her I had a podcast today. She must have forgot. So it went somewhere. It's gonna come back though. I had it right there, but she called twice. Um, Where is that question? Well, let me ask you this. I want that question because it was important. um, so what would you say to someone who's watching and maybe trying to, step out and do something different that they haven't done out of their comfort zone? What would you say? What got you through stepping into this new territory when you first started?
Literally, you just have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to try some. I always tell you, always be willing to try something once. You might like it. If you don't like it, then guess what? You can always walk away from it. But if you
At
like
least,
it, you can always make it a career. So always try something, no matter what it is. You just can see something somebody do. Even as a job, some people just need jobs. Some people you'll hear them say, "Oh, I don't want to do that," or "I won't do that." Never say "I won't do that," because it might turn out to be something that you like doing, which is what happened to me. It was something I knew nothing about, and I was so ready to say, "Man, I'm not going to do that." And then I said, I actually listened to him and said, "Let me just hear what he's saying, what he's talking about." And look at me now. I'm 20 plus years still in the
wow.
same field. And I can't say, can't say anything. I got two brothers, two younger brothers. They're in this field because I told them about it. I got them. They both started working under me, and now they both work at two different hospitals and
Ain't
running their hospitals.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So it's
I
just,
love
I'll
that.
never say never.
Right. So this is what I was gonna ask you. Um, and I probably should have been looked it up, but this is a great question in case someone's watching. How do you go about, like, I adopted him and he's a lab, but he's a lab mixed with something. So how do I go about trying to find that out? I go on like a doggy DNA or ask the veterinarian to do a test run or something? Or
Yeah,
what would I do?
you actually can take them in. You ask some veterinarian does it, and some you can do a DNA test on them. But some vets don't do it. I think it's a
Right. I
costly
think our
test.
vet didn't do it, and that's why we ain't got the test yet. 'Cause when we asked them about it when we first adopted him, I don't think they did it.
It's a very costly test to do it. But my honest opinion, if it's a mixed breed, I wouldn't even worry about it. Most breeders does it because they want to know what breed is coming with their dog. But if it's like a mixed breed, I wouldn't even worry about it because they can be mixed with so much that, once you find out what all they're mixed with, then what? There's
Right.
nothing going to come from it. But like a lot of breeders do it because they want to know, certain people want this strand in their dog, or they want this strand in their dog. So most breeders do it so they can tell you, hey, it carries this carrier, it carries that carrier. And it just gives them a way to, to charge more or what they're going to charge for their
Right.
pets,
Because
for their
money
dogs.
is involved, but
Right, exactly.
raising that one over there.
I always tell people if it's a mixed breed and they ask me, what do I think you mixed with? I always tell them it's all American.
Right.
Whatever you want it to be is what it is.
Right. All American. That's a great one. That's
Yeah.
great. So it's definitely been a pleasure. I don't want to keep holding you. I know you got more to do today and stuff like that and get it done. And so is there any last words you would like to offer the audience before we log off?
Just as I always said, always get your dogs vaccinated. Look into insurance. Um, just do your research on any dog or cat that you're gonna get. Just do your research, and just do your best to love them the best as if they were your own kids.
Exactly. I love that because they are children.
They are.
Children in the pet world. And humans like us to care for them. And so, like I always say here at the Pink Link Podcast, you are great in the life you desire. You create just like Mr. Jerome Horton here, creating the life he desire. And as he stated, I always give it one shot. Before you just knock it out and say, no, it ain't for me. That ain't, I won't do that. No, give it a try. You never know. He's
You
over
never
20
know.
years now.
That's right. You
Yeah.
never know what your plan is.
Right. And alignment, some things are just aligning just for you to be able to have that opportunity. But sometimes you may walk away from something that was in alignment for your life.
That's right.
So, because it was in alignment for yours, right?
That's right. I'll tell anybody that story, man. I was here for a reason. That was my reason.
Amen. I love it. Well, thank you once again. It's definitely been a pleasure. Keep on creating the life that you're desiring over there, Mr.
I
Horton.
appreciate the invite.
You're welcome. Have a blessed one. We logging off, y'all.
That's right.
Make sure you
Bye
watch on
bye.
YouTube. Go support Tara.
Gotcha.
All right. Bye bye.